Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 11:07 a.m. and it's Saturday, the 27th of July 2024. As you can see, had a shower and washed my hair after my wild dance last night. Whew, I needed that shower. I was a little bit sweaty. I don't normally climb into bed when I'm still sweaty and, soul enervated. I usually, when I come home after epic nights of dancing, I have a hot Epsom salt bath to get me some magnesium and unwind a bit. But I was too tired. So I took off the makeup, hurled myself into bed. And anyway, I wrote about that this morning, so it'll get repetitive. What else can I tell you? Beautiful day, blue skies and clouds, and Charlie's happy. I gave her a banana. She's very happy with her banana. Yes, Charlie. And life is pretty bloody awesome, actually. Pretty bloody awesome. I've had 2 very powerful, wonderful, magical nights of dancing. And I've had a wonderful time, even though I'm now a bit exhausted, but I've had a wonderful time. So no complaints here. And life will keep unfurling majestically as it always does. No matter what, no matter who, no matter how, no matter when, where, if, what. On we go and on we go and on we go. So today's readings are titled The Power of No. And the photo that I've attached to today's readings is of my my desk that I turned into a jeweler's bench. I mean, it's not the best jeweler's bench in the world. What happened there? I didn't touch anything. You can see I've got my drill there, and we're going to play that game again with the magnifying thingy, are we? Personalised your Firefox. No, don't want that. Go away. Right, here we are. Anyway, can you see it? No, it's doing that all by itself. Misbehaving again. F7, we'll just hold down the F7 button and pray. Anyway, you have to laugh. Anyway, that's my jeweler's bench that I had wood burned the name of my business name. It's not really a business, but I'm manifesting. People are manifesting. I've got to manifest because, what else am I going to do with my life? It's like Richard, the security manager at the Brooklyn Standard last night, said to me, "You've been dancing here every week for a year." He said, "But I know you enjoy the live bands." And I said, "Yep. And what else have I got going on in my life? Stay home and do knitting. I did that for years too. But I still went dancing on the weekends. So that's my lifestyle. It's what keeps me alive and happy, and being surrounded by talented, gifted, clever people, and some of whom see me and actually care about me is very soul nourishing and heartwarming and lovely. Bear in mind, I don't have family, and there's a lot of things I don't have. We won't even go into that. But what do I have is very wonderful and much valued and cherished and appreciated by me, and I love you all. I do love you. And I love my Charlie, I love my Sacred Space garden, and I'm not real comfortable with this hat. I don't like big hats that drown me, but my beautiful friend Lynn insisted I had it because skin cancers is a thing, people, that I have had very unpleasant, repetitive experiences with. So we're trying to avoid We're trying to avoid the unpleasant experiences that are the consequences of my actions of being wild and free and not always looking after myself effectively. Well, it is what it is. And the sun gets you anyway. It's everywhere, man. But it's also, healing and nourishing, and, all this fear consciousness about the sun is also kind of a bit of bollocks, says she, almost out in the noonday winter sun. So that's why the big hat people, the big hat. Anyway, we continue on. We continue on. I finished varnishing my wood-burned edging on my newly cut-out jeweller's desk today, 27th of July 2022. So that's 2 years ago today. Well, I was being very creative all during the COVIDian madness, because when in doubt, just create. When you feel soul depleted and exhausted, have a little rest, and then get up and at 'em and create even more. Never give up, never cede, never quit. I'm like a steam locomotive sometimes. Even I realise that. Sometime during the night last night, my dance, I thought, by the gods, Tanya, you my Meduan friend diagnosed me accurately. Push, 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 like a Mustang quay, like a wild horsewoman. But I don't want to push myself off the cliff like a fucking lemming, so I'm going to have to get back to that everything zen that I was intuitively burbling on about during the week for 4 consecutive days. Everything zen, babies. Find the center point deep within my soul where everything emanates, but from a place of immense beauty and power and magic and joy. And don't sweat the small stuff. Don't let the bastards grind me down, and hold my own powerful life force and light and gift it to those who honour it, and whistle it back in. Don't expend it on those who dishonour it. It's a timely reminder, actually. I have a tendency to give too much and to love too much. Sometimes people that freak out about it don't actually want it all that much, and I don't even realise for a while what's going on. So I'm being pulled back into line, and it's okay. It's perfectly fine and acceptable, actually. Mama T must do what Mama T does best. Carefully curate and nurture and protect her own energy. So 27th of July 2024. (8:51 a.m. This was this morning, by the way. Awake after 5.5 hours sleep. Well, that's not strictly true. I had the CPAP mask on for that amount of time. I actually lay in bed in a heightened state as I danced so hard and wildly for 2 nights that my body went online, so I didn't wind down for about an hour. So 4 hours and a half. I've written that badly. Tanya, what is wrong with you? Sleep deprivation. I have to fix that later. 4.5 hours sleep, it should say. Anyway, last night was wonderful too. However, I had quite a few very young men approach me and try to flirt with me. A woman sitting near me said she wondered what was going on too. It was intense. I just laughed. I said, I used to dance at the casino for 12 years and I always had a suspicion the young ones would lay bets on who was going to crack the old lady dancing as fast as she can in her spot. Tonight it's happening again. We laughed. No one cracks me, by the way. No one. If I enter into a sexual liaison with someone, it's because I chose to be in that situation quite willingly, except on the few rare occasions when I wasn't willing, but we won't go into that. But, you know, young men, I don't understand it, what they're seeing in the old mama tea, but it's astonishing. But I got into my zone, meaning my trance zone, where all emanations of healing and power and peace and joy and whatever else I need in my emotional toolbox, you know, gets kind of manifested internally, like literally, as I described, brought online. Sometimes things I'm not always conscious of myself, like kind of downloads, energy blockages sometimes get removed, although I have a bad habit of shoring those right back up for some weird reason that makes no sense to anyone, not even me or the gods. Those blockages are costing me dear. They're costing me success, a truly loving, happy partnership with a gorgeous man who adores me, prosperity, and I'm chipping away at those walls. Sometimes I climb over them, sometimes I skirt around them, sometimes I bulldoze right through them, and yet they seem to get shored back up, and I don't know why that is actually. But anyway, I was told 30 years ago that my true love will manifest when I'm 60, so I need just be patient and wait and let time take time and healing take healing, and one day, hopefully in the not too distant future, I'll kick all those walls down in my personal body, mind and spirit, and just invite the one, and it'll be a thing of astonishment and wonder, even to all my friends who've seen me struggle all these decades. I want to cry when I think about it, but it's okay. It is what it is. So I'll repeat that paragraph. I got into my zone and poured some powerful energy into that space. Powerful for me too. Healing. Living my best life. Loving the dance. Letting go of old paradigms that no longer serve me. Inviting more good stuff in. The good stuff may not even be physical, tangible things that you can touch and smell and hold in your arms or put on mantelpieces or display as, wealth or accoutrement. It might just be spiritual good stuff. Transmuting the dross. I'm in a constant process of that, by the gods. Constant process of that. But that's also part of my shamanistic qualities is, how I normally phrase it is turning shit to spiritual gold, people of Earth. It's a work in progress. It's a masterpiece that I have to keep stripping back down and painting over and, recreating and recreating and rebuilding and rebuilding and recreating until it's something that I can look back at and go, my God, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that journey and who I am and how far I've come, given my serious limitations. Holding true like glue to my beloved ones, being happy in my weird, quirky ways, which I have observed as I've gotten older are getting a bit weirder and a bit quirkier, to be honest. But that's probably the gift of, living alone for so long, is you only have yourself and, I only have myself and the bird to commune with, and of course the spirits that float in and out occasionally stir me up too. And so it is kind of weird and quirky, but also in a strange way rather beautiful, and I'm honouring and loving that too. It was a long, slow walk to the uptown car park. There was no street parking available, as my body was exhausted, but the night air was crisp and enervating to my supercharged, jangling meridians. I probably should have had my Epsom salt bath to soothe the muscles, but I was too exhausted. I just removed my makeup and threw myself into bed. I am astonished I am awake and so crystal clear in the head. Dancing is good for me. 2 nights is a lot for me though, but I loved it. I had a few epiphanies, lying in bed, striving to succumb to sleep. I am at a crossroads or a fork in the road. I need to choose which path I wish to remain on. I will be guided and protected as always. All is well. I am loved. My friend Scott suggested I may wish to take time out from dancing and concentrate on my writing. He says he knows how much energy I pour into my dancing, that it depletes me. A kindness. But I am under doctor's orders to keep dancing until I die. And we all know the Tanya rarely follows direct orders, laughing my ass off. I dance for me, but I also dance for the spirits and gods and ancestors. Will I stop dancing? Perhaps. When I am dead. And even then, I'll be dancing in the light somewhere, or, well, maybe not fully in the light. Depends where I get sent in the next paradigm, what mission they have ready for me then. But there'll be dancing, to be sure. Unless I forget about the dance in the next paradigm, or it's no longer needed because I don't have a physical body to jiggle, jangle and shimmy and shake and stir up, am I right? But it's all open to interpretation, what happens in the next dimension. I'm not too bothered by it. Whatever happens, happens, babies. In the meantime, while I'm in this physical form, there will be dancing, and if I'm no longer welcome in any space, then I'll dance at home alone as I used to do during the worst of the COVID madness when I was locked out of dancing by mandates. Nothing and no one stops me from my dance, just saying. Oh, it used to be brilliant actually. I'd put on my usual Friday night when I go out dancing, I would put on, because I can stir shit too sometimes. I'd put on Zombie and crank it right up, and I would stomp and writhe in my kitchen. The floorboards would be just banging under my feet. The neighbours would all be terrified of me the next day, and it suited me just fine, since they were so gullible and so yielding and so compliant and so brainwashed. So to be fair, it wasn't necessarily their conscious fault that they were so compliant, but it is what it is, my darlings. Fear drives all sorts of things into people's psyches, and you have to remember the acronym of fear is face everything and rise. What's the other one? For fear is false evidence appearing real. That's a big one too. Some of the things we fear the most are illusions or delusions or other people's contrivances to drive us into abject, bloody, incoherent incapacity and make us docile and compliant. Mama T will never be docile, and she will comply only when it's absolutely necessary for the safety of myself and others, but not because of any external forces driven into me by the medical establishment, just saying. Hell no, I won't go. I will die on my own 2 feet, dancing as fast as I can. And when I can't do that anymore and I finally lie down and succumb, that will be very likely by my own choice too. Maybe not. It depends on how life treats me in the next 10, 20 or my beautiful, handsome, talented psychiatrist thinks I've got 30 years still in me. Gorgeous. Not only does he think that, but he put his money where his mouth is and made sure I got the contrivance to somehow maintain these lungs and this body for another 30 years. It's why he wants me to dance even more, because the fantasy is that if I get slimmer and super fit, I'll heal the sleep apnea as well. And I say it's a fantasy because they said it's an anomaly. They don't even know why I have the sleep apnea. They said my lungs are actually quite healthy, which blew my mind. My lungs never feel healthy. I've got a rasp in the back of my throat right now, like of asthma, and congestion. But anyway, healthy is as healthy does. It all starts from the mind too, a lot of it. I've been ill all my life, but I have dragged myself through by sheer grit and determination sometimes, day by day by day by day. And to be honest, if it weren't for the disability pension and I was somehow having to graft really hard in some environment, I probably would not have survived this long. So I was literally gifted by the gods to be making these videos and have my weird, quirky attitudes and hold my line. I was gifted immensely, but it came at a huge price, The Lord gives with one hand and takes away with the other, because no one wants a trauma survivor or a disability pensioner as a partner, that's for sure. So no amount of crying or breast beating is going to change that. Hence my intrepid determination to try and make a go at silversmithing, thinking I would get a business going and get off the pension and be self-determined and then look a bit more attractive to members of the opposite sex. It's even feel like I'm, contributing and manifesting and not feeling like someone that's lived off charity for her entire fucking life. It is demeaning in a way. I mean, I'm grateful, but it is a bit demeaning. That's partly also why when I'm out dancing as hard and as fast as I can, it's about wanting to feel valued and cherished and respected and contributing to be part of the music scene in my weird way, not wanting to feel like a loser or a failure all the fucking time. So there is that. But I'm not a loser and I'm not a failure. I'm just, rebuilt and reconfigured and a bit odd. I continued writing this morning. Will I write books or continue my Facebook ramblings? Perhaps, although the books are less likely as I haven't achieved that goal yet. But my voice, my laughter, my dance, my love will go on, shifting into other expressions as my spirit sees fit. I actually don't know quite what I meant exactly of that. What other expressions? See, sometimes I astonish myself in my own musings, but it will make sense in the end. It always makes sense in the end, babies. Time is precious. Energy is precious and poignant. Slip sliding away the nearer my destination, a paradox. The young men flocking to me last night and Thursday night, which I must say was a bit bizarre to be honest, shows me that my sexual energy is activated, but I won't be expending it on sons, meaning very young men, because it's just bloody creepy and weird and inappropriate, and it weirds me out when they flock to me like that. But here we have it. Here I write. But the frottering is a gift of sorts, a reminder. I am alive in these bones and tendons and sinews, in my blood which seeps deep and languid and powerfully enlivened. The Tanya, with her incredible spirit, feared and scorned by many, admired, respected, and loved by a few rare and delightful souls. To my beloved ones, you know who you are. I am grateful and humbled and astonished to witness the becoming. I just need to do what most innovates me and gives me joy. Did I not always say, spread joy, not oi, as a battle cry, as a battle cry of my very soul? And sometimes, to be fair, with my complex PTSD and my depression, which isn't very bad anymore. It used to be major, major depression, but it just sort of floats in and out occasionally. I'll have little spiralings down and then I'll have little spiralings up. But the depression doesn't visit so often anymore. Thank all the gods for that. It's the other reason why dancing is so important. Keep my body all, online and pushes away the depression most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. Joyfulness in the face of societal breakdown is a superpower. It truly is. I would say fake it till you make it, but fake joy is kind of an empty, superficial, narcissistic, hedonistic kind of thing. But it does help sometimes in darker times when I used to be severely depressed, to just go out and ground myself by, and I still do it, picking a beautiful flower and putting it up on Facebook and saying, here's a gift from sacred space, a flower or a kiss with my Charlie or a hug with my beautiful friends, or simple things, build that joy into a crescendo of such vivacity and intensity that it's soul nourishing for darker times, when we slip and fall into the abyss. We as a collective, and me myself personally, it can be abysmal. But I'm holding myself up, babies. I am, in my weird ways, in my weird, quirky ways. Joyfulness in the face of societal breakdown is a superpower. Face everything and rise. Allow. Not everyone will ever understand or value me. That is certain. Decades of suffering demonstrated that. But I am okay, alone or in a crowd of writhing dancers, as long as I have a little space so I don't feel invaded. Lol. One of the young men that presented himself to me last night was very passionate indeed. He plonked himself down next to me. I was nicer to that one because I could see he was just passionate and overly enthusiastic, whereas the one prior to that was just fucking weird and creepy and he had to go. But the other one was so cute. But then he went to grab my arm, and I don't know what he was grabbing my arm for actually. And he's sitting far too close to me, and they always want to press their knees to you, which is, it's man for I want to fuck you actually. I don't even think they're conscious of it half the time. They're so used to not having boundaries. But anyway, in goes the knee, and next thing is grabbing at me. And I just thought to him very calmly, I think, why was I being so nice to that one? I'm trying to think. It was almost beneath consciousness. I think it was because I could see he was Italian or Greek background, and he was just, like the village people that have no boundaries, the people that come from small villages that always invade your personal space, kind of that background, you know what I mean? And he was just so enthusiastic and excited, and so anyway, but I looked at him sternly when he started pulling on my arm and grabbing at me. I said, very, very sternly, like a school teacher almost, I said, young man, if you ever aspire to ever be my friend, it would behoove you to not grab at me or pull on my energy. He just looked at me astonished. Okay, he said. And then he said, can I get you another glass of ice? Because he kept asking me what I was eating, and I had my mouth full of ice, so I could barely speak. I said, I'm eating ice. He went, ice as in the drug? I went, no, ice, baby. And I showed him my glass of ice. And he ran like a rabbit to get me more ice, which was very sweet and kind actually. But I still flicked him off a bit because, my God, old enough to be my grandson almost. Not that I have any grandchildren, but you know what I mean. Anyway, next thing I glanced over, he was pashing off some woman of his vintage. I thought, oh, that's absolutely appropriate and wonderful. I'm happy for him. And then he gravitated back to me, like towards the end of the night, and sort of looked at me and fussed over me a little bit. Maybe he was just wanting to be like a grandson. Anyway, it was all a bit kind of strange. And then when I actually left the club and I was ascending the staircase, he was coming down and he just had his hand out and we high-fived each other with a resounding slap. And it was delightful, actually quite delightful. Once I'd masterfully put him back into the friend zone or the grandchild zone and had him behave. Oh dear goddess. It is a bit bizarre, this frottering around me lately. I must pay attention because it means someone is coming into my life. This kind of almost swallow murmuration of intensity, am I right? It's not me either doing it, I promise. I mean, I am dressing alluringly, but I'm not actually working it, babies. I'm too circumspect about sexuality now that I'm old and reconfigured and kintsugi'd and rebuilt. But this younger men thing, it's a sign that perhaps my future lover is going to be younger than me, but I don't want it to be too young. That would be weird. It will never happen. I won't allow it. Simply won't allow it. But I don't know. Maybe a few years younger or a few years older. I mean, who knows? It may never happen anyway. It really may never happen. It might just be my angels and God stirring me up as they like to do. And I'm okay with that. It was a bit kind of delightful. So here I continue writing. Handsome young men plonking themselves down almost into my lap gets a tad irritating. They are attracted to my wildness and freedom fighting, of course, wanting to breathe in my energy like an elixir of fairy magic that would make a True Blood type vampire go insane. I'm riffing on that old TV show, True Blood. I'm riffing on that. It came up in my memories yesterday and I've been thinking a lot about that, about the psychic vampires that came and went out of my life and the destruction, the absolute desecration and desolation they wrought in my life, and how very long it's taken me to grow back from that. And I was trying to think yesterday, like, what is it they actually got out of all that, really? Nothing. It's not like they got money out of me or, houses or land or businesses. Well, my husband took all that, didn't he? 29 and a half years ago. But it's okay. It is what it is. But I often wonder what all that psychic vampirism over the decades was really about. Maybe just to show me that I can grow back and rebuild from any motherfucking one. I just don't want to have to do that anymore. I just want joy and comfort and ease and a truly loving partner who has my back and my front and my sides, who values and cherishes and adores me and is happy to be with me in my company and be my man and me be his woman, as I half-jokingly quip, king to my queen. Loyalty and royalty, purple fucking haze, noblesse oblige, honour and integrity in a world gone completely mad. It's as rare as hen's teeth, babies. But that's what I'm holding out for. Loyalty, faithfulness, honour and integrity and devotion and sweetness and kindness and honour and truest, deepest, unabated love that cannot and will not be sullied and destroyed by other people's envy and spite, because it's that strong and that immense and that powerful. Like the Bangles, is it the Bangles song, Eternal Flame? Maybe I'm being too mushy and romantic. Stop it now, Tanya. You live in the real world. You live in a zombie apocalypse. Why are you trying to make the miracles out of this mess? Because I can. That's all I have to say about that. You have to laugh. It's why my psychiatrist believes in me. He's seen me create miracles in my own life before. And sometimes it even blew both our minds what would come out in therapy, things that I've walked from unscathed that technically shouldn't have. It's astonishing. So I can trust in myself now. It's trusting in others that I still have immense struggles with at times. Yes, Charlie, Mama loves you. Face everything and rise. Allow. Not everyone will ever understand me. I'm repeating that. No, we don't need to repeat that. We've read that already. Moving on, babies. Where were we up to? Young men wanting to breathe in my energy like an elixir of fairy magic that would make a true blood type vampire go insane. That's what it felt like last night. I felt they were just like almost hoovering me up, and I was like, man, what are you doing? Get out of my face. Don't press against me with your body. If I wanted you pressing against me with your body, boys, you'd know about it. In fact, I'd be pressing up against you too, by the gods. But they are kind of sweet, aren't they? Stirring up the old lady in the club. By the gods. Well, my babies, I won't be going. No, I wrote we, plural. We, all of us, won't be going insane. I won't be sucked, plucked, and shucked. No, I didn't write that. I wrote chucked, shucked. It's kind of similar, isn't it? Meh. I've been chucked so many times and discarded and shredded and discombobulated that I say I won't be, but it doesn't actually, I don't fear it that much. Discard me, throw me away like garbage, that's fine, that's on you. I'll move on, I'll find my tribe and my vibe. Always do, eventually. The ones who love me and see me they always find me. At the moment, inordinately young men, but wow, that must have just been a signpost from the multiverse to tell me to pay attention on who's genuine. Am I right? I think so. But here I wrote, I'll repeat that, I won't be sucked, plucked and chucked. I feed, as in soul feed, energy feed. Only those who treat me with honour and integrity. The rest get sloughed off, laughing my ass off. The power of a shaman, of a woman in love with herself, her spirits, her friends, her muse. Sun's gone behind a cloud. I can have freedom, freedom. My hair's all a bit buffy, but I've washed it, so it's all good. Her muse, bemusing at times, magical, majestic, and fierce at others. Grateful, happy woman here. I know, Charlie. What's up, Charlie? What's up? 27th of July 2023. Vale Sinead O'Connor, a self-described protest singer who had things to get off her chest, a voice in the wilderness, a warrior goddess. Who will take up her baton, I wonder? May she find rest and peace. Interesting timing that the crows come to serenade me just as I'm remembering Sinead O'Connor. May she find rest and peace in the ever-loving arms of the Ein Sof Or. I see she converted to Islam in 2018, so she had already chosen a religion of peace. Peace was something she craved and valued. I hear you, sister. Salam and shalom. And I'm going to add to that, since I've got my crows here, all hail Odin as well. Mama T's hanging from the Yggdrasil tree of life. Hanging like grandmother's spider by a thread at times. But only Odin can snip that thread and let me fly free. Only Odin, the All-Father. I haven't got any chicken for you guys. Is that why you're yelling at me in crow language? I'm letting down the team, am I? I know. Naughty Mama T. Naughty Mama T. I love you. Yes, Charlie. The crows are here, Charlie. Yes, I know. You're going to have to hold your own, Charlie. They won't hurt you. They know not to hurt Mama's birdie. 27th of July 2022. It's because you smell just like Mama, that's why. Freaks them out a bit, to be honest. They often stare at her beat to beat, trying to figure out what kind of bird she is. Where were we? 2022. Right, here we go. I'm sort of flubbery this morning, but, bear in mind, I danced for 2 solid nights and I haven't had a lot of sleep, so I'm also observing my brain going round in little spirals like a platform on a DJ, disc jockeys spinning on a wheel, babies. It's the way I am now, and I kind of like it. Doesn't faze me at all. I had my debrief with my psychiatrist this afternoon. He wrote the most wonderful letter of introduction from my new GP, so he will know how best to treat me given my history of abuse. He told me the best way forward is to find a doctor who can offer such good primary care as to ensure, as much as is humanly possible, that I no longer need access to hospitals. It's too risk-taking and destabilising for me. I concur. I need to keep myself safe to navigate the ensuing years as my health has rapidly deteriorated, and that is a common thing. When we heal our minds, our bodies go into decline. Well, I have pulled myself out of the last epic death spiral by the skin of my teeth, and my freshly carved flesh at that time frame, which coincided with an already vicious asthma and or bronchitis and some weird kind of infection. But here I am, fighting on in this recalcitrant, stubborn, ornery and outrageously defiant body. I am grateful to my psychiatrist, who has always been extremely supportive and encouraging of me, and if or when necessary, protective within the confines of our therapeutic allowance. Well, it is kind of an allowance too, when you invite someone into your most intimate thought processes, like I allow when I make my YouTube videos and you get to see me randomly rambling ad nauseum, sometimes not even always making coherent sense, I guess. Although I used to do this many years ago on Pal Talk, and then halfway into my musings I'd go, by the gods, am I even making sense? And then my true friends would say, yes, psychedelic dreamer, astonishingly, you're making perfect sense. Keep going. But I had a lot of enemies on there that used to tell me to just shut up and crawl away and die too, which wasn't very nice given in those times. I was struggling with my health too, in a constant process of dying and revivifying and dying and revivifying, because I'm a zombie and that's what I do, babies. In a constant state between re-innovating and shutting down, blowing life back into myself and doing it all over again, sometimes several times a day, which is exhausting even for my spirit and mind and body complex. But I've had the most astonishing and beautiful few weeks, given my recent brush with death 2.5 weeks ago. It's been astonishing. It's like, I guess for me it's the equivalent of kick-starting a motorcycle into life. It's just literally revving myself up, and sometimes I sputter out and go kaplunk, and other times I'm full fucking zest, riding through the storms, babies. Which is really funny, since I don't even know how to ride a motorcycle, operate one. But you get my analogy, don't you? Riders in the storm. I have had 2 wonderful psychiatrists who supported me as I healed from decades of trauma and cumulative abuse. I simply would not be alive without the stoic determination of both those men to pull me through the darkness, the ghastly horror, and the occasional tempestuous Tanya tantrums that meant I was in mortal danger, but fighting like a warrior goddess to the best of my abilities, with my heart, mind, soul intact, with words, with energy, with spirit-led guidance, and yes, I can add to that, with my dance that scares the bejesus out of, most mainstream, ordinary folks, because, well, I was born that way. I've been dancing this wild dance since I was 6 years old, simultaneously as a coping mechanism with all the other evil shit that was going on in my family home at that time period. So, of course it's frightening to the uninitiated. You haven't walked in my moccasins, babies, then you have no fucking idea how important it is for me to have my shamanic, wild, sometimes berserker dance. It is verily, verily, verily a gift to and from the gods channeled through my body, and it heals me, and at times, if I direct the energy, it potentially heals others, although I can't take credit for that. We're all responsible for our own healing and our own innate divinity, our own innate power, and for tapping into our own inner core, heart and gut and mind. It's a very, very powerful thing. One of the things we're not taught as children or even as young adults, in fact it's suppressed and discouraged by our education system, is how deeply, deeply powerful we are as souls, and how our body has its own consciousness and keeps its own scores, and how to fight for it and defend it and grow it back after every fucking disarray or dis-ease or destruction wrought upon it by the fates. If I've been an example of one thing, it's that much, babies. But only a very few have been privileged to witness it and even comprehend it. Even I don't completely comprehend it, so I guess it's as I said, it's a gift conferred upon me, and I am blessed, and I am grateful, and I am humbled, indeed, very much so, which sounds funny coming from a woman who presents as arrogant and confident and at times obnoxious. Not many know that underneath all that, a complete train wreck and obliteration that I've had to cobble together to create this arrogance and self-determination. I continue writing. There is a saying, people glow differently when they are loved. Oh yes, they do. They emanate such radiance and ebullience and beauty and peace and sometimes astonishment. They do glow. They glow in the darkness of other people's minds and voids. They glow and they grow, and they are never forgotten. Shine bright like a diamond, beautiful ones. Always turn on your heart lights and don't be afraid to glow. Show your true inner light. It's magical. I often feel the most interminable grief at whom I might have been or had achieved in my life had I not been surrounded by the most demonic, monstrous entities in the bodies, minds and spirits of my progenitors and all their henchmen and women, by the way. It took decades to claw myself back from their evil influences. I think we're going to get rain. In fact, it was not until 2009 when some bubble broke in my psyche and I visited my former psychiatrist with the unusual complaint that I had discovered happiness, and I could not stop laughing for 4 hours. His remedy? He was a beautiful soul, a wonderful man, and a wonderful doctor. This society, he said, hates happiness, tries to destroy it, numb it, oppress it. So be happy anyway, Tanya. It's the best revenge. That was his gift to me, my beautiful Dr. Eastwell, before he was shut down and forced into retirement. Mind you, he was 80, but he's right. He knew it. He knew it and I knew it. They were oppressing us even back then, they being our societal, governmental, globalist elites. Spread joy, not oi. Never let the bastards grind you down. Ever, ever. Hear me? Mama T loves you. She wants you all to be happy. Not by oppressing me or pressing your thighs against me or writhing all over my body autonomy against my mutual exclusive, consensual contracts with you, but you can be happy in my company with a tiny little bit of space between thee and me. You have to laugh. Then shortly after my first real explosion of sheer joy, ironic actually, I was crushed again by my mother's death and then the evil ensuing years of the wool dispute. It's like the spirits gave me that brief window period of getting to feel in my body, mind and spirit what real happiness felt like for the first time in my life, and then it got ripped away from me like a giant fucking chasm, and I floundered. I floundered from the time she was granny dumped into that home in 2008, and when that burst of happiness manifested in 2009, I was building myself back up, and then her death, and I fucking floundered. Even a few years after the wool dispute ended, I floundered for quite some years. Well, Mama T won't be floundering anymore. I've manifested joy in my own life and my own measure of peace. I've fought for it, I've clawed it back, and I've held it almost like a potential weapon in my own mind, body and spirit. No one better dare ever attempt to steal my joy ever again. There will be consequences. You will lose me permanently. I don't mean as in suicide or anything awful like that, but I will just cut the cords and cut the strings and walk away, head high, shoulders back, boobs out, and I'll find, another space or place to be joyful in, even if it means being alone in my own little garden here. I have the toolkit of survival to do it. I know how to do it. I've done it. I've done it many, many times. But I'm just, as my shaman friend Michelle Citrim taught me well and wisely, I'm holding on while letting go. That too is a process. The soon, the contractions and the moving forward and pulling back and moving forward and pulling back. It's almost like an orgasm type thing, if that makes sense. And I don't let go of people I love easily, by the way. It's very, very difficult for me. So I pray that I don't need to, that the people I love me back and hold me precious and dear and keep me in their lives, however I present in their lives as meaningfully and valuable and precious. By your own free will, heart, mind and spirit. I don't want any fake or superficial friendships or lovers. Had a lifetime of those. So I'm feeling very deep and intense this morning. It's afternoon now. Still writing. Here I am. Here I write. But here I am again in 2022. Almost 12 years after the wool dispute ended, 6 years free of all psych meds, fully fleshed out in my mind, cognizant, wild, free, and still defiant, but happy. It's a different kind of happiness now, more grounded, older, wiser, and conscious that even happiness can only last so long. But I have tasted of trauma, depression, destruction, and witnessed firsthand the breakdown of Western society. So I know, more than most people, the power of no and of rebuilding from ground zero. Indeed I do. A delicate gossamer web that glistens in the sun, but is cast in an unbreakable titanium thread of such strength that only a dumb motherfucker would dare tear it apart now. I was loved by truly good, kind, decent humans who worked on the coalface with broken people and broken lives and never betrayed us or judged us cruelly, but saw our rage as the pristine, enervating force of love, nature, and of the becoming that it was, who taught us to navigate our world with honour and gentleness, and yes, to laugh and live so boldly and brightly and ever conscious that we do not become like our abusers. We heal and we become, and we break the chains that bound us in their ghastly evil. L'chaim, to life. Thank you to the Holy One and all manifestations that brought me good, kind souls to protect me. Much love always from the Tanya. Crystal has COVID and is too sick to talk, but she tells me she is alive. I'm sending her my preternatural extra strength that runs in our bloodlines. The Aaron's women are powerful in our cause, but rest she must. Interestingly, when I caught COVID, I didn't rest all that. I mean, I had about 2 days when the fever was reasonably high that I languished in bed, but I did very strange things. They're all up here on YouTube because I had such a deep raspy voice that was like all trapped like in here, and my upper respiratory, it was all the COVID just affected my upper respiratory and my voice, my vocal cords mainly. So it's such a deep voice that I saw the funny side of it, and in my quirky, unusual way, I made videos singing Metallica, Nothing Else Matters, in this really deep voice. And then I made a few other videos, just riffing on the COVIDian illness that was writhing through my body, and I was fighting it like a true Viking berserker warrior goddess by singing Metallica. And I'm doing all this. I haven't got a bra on. You can actually see my nips. I was like, I left it up there. It's up there. 102 views. By the gods. I look back at it and I laugh my ass off. This is my defiance in the face of potential imminent death. Singing Metallica and doing all the moves to it. It was just so classic Tanya that even I have to giggle about it. But I was not going to give in to that disease. I was not. I fought it with everything I had. Here I continue writing. Crystal is quite sick, unable to talk. So much for being... It's evil bullshit. I'm quite worried she won't let me near her as I am too at risk. She is fiercely independent. So I have taken to calling each day to check on her. But it's hard to know exactly how sick she is with limited communication. Oh, that kid stressed me out to the gills, but oh well. I guess since I've let go and I've stopped trying to hold on, I've got a measure of peace now. I'm no longer stressing out about her. I'm pouring my energy into other people that enjoy my company or value my energy, and it is what it is for however long that lasts, until I become annoying or become a nuisance or whatever happens in their worldview. Everything has a season, and time takes time, and it is what it is. Got spirit screaming in my left ear. No, Tanya. Don't get it wrong, Tanya. You are loved. Thank you, Spirit. I appreciate that, my darlings. I really do appreciate hearing that right then, just right then, when I'm digging deep into old wounds. Not even sure what that's about. I guess it's the ass kick from a couple of weeks ago, being reminded how brief my sojourn really is here, and how I need to cherish it every single day in every way. It's beautiful and it's powerful and it's at times frightening, even for me. What are you doing, Charlie? Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to over there? Yes, well, come over here and talk to Mama. Come over here. Come. Oh, come on. Did you eat your banana? You ate most of it, didn't you? She got so excited when she saw the banana. She was doing her baby lorikeet singing. Mama's over here. She's trying to tell me something. I'll just check what's going on over there. She's quite determined at telling me something. No, your water in your bowl's clean enough for a bath, so I don't know what your problem is, Missy. Just get on with whatever it is you want to do, Charlie. It's only a job for Charlie, whatever it is. She's probably twitterpating. Being a bird, they sense the changes in the the weather ahead of time. There's big black clouds over there. Can you see it? So we're going to get a shower, or maybe potentially a shower. I don't know. All right, mummy can feel the shift in the spatial awareness too, but it's all good. Rain is good, Charlie. Feeds the garden. Yes, rain is good, baby girl. 27th of July 2020. Cold, blustery day. Brrr. I tried to take Charlie outside, but it was too bitter, so I brought him back inside. He is singing merrily in his cage. So the early August winds we had all week last week have gone, just gone again. I guess we may get more August winds in actual August at Eka time. But it was astonishingly how bitterly cold it was with those westerly winds. It's a beautiful day today, though. We've had 3 beautiful days. I'm just so grateful, so very grateful. So yesterday I talked with my friend Lynn. We mused over the fact that for decades I spent my life sleeping away my traumas, heavily medicated on psychiatric medication, in a permanent zombie state. You can have a bath, Charlie. Yeah, you go have your bathies. Why is that highlighted? Oh, it's gone now. I was numbed down and dumbed down by both my psychiatrists, who I both of them I love deeply. They were just following the directives, am I right? And they both kind of acknowledged that to me, ultimately, that it was kind of a mistake, but they meant well. They meant well. They were keeping me alive to the best of their ability too. Because this government systemically betrayed me and my children when I was barely surviving the kind of domestic terrorism you see in movies in foreign countries and think, shit, this can't be real. But it was real. When I tried to get justice through the courts, I was invalidated and demonised and slapped with the utterly bogus DVOs based on the salacious, perverted lies of a con man who ultimately ensured his evil spawn gained my rightful inheritance. That's what it was all about, stealing money from me. Shameful it was, and our government enabled that. Utterly evil and shameful. But what's money? Didn't ever mean all that much to me in the broad scheme of things. I give so much of my energy away for free, and I don't ask for anything really much back except to be treated with basic respect and kindness. You know, I don't ask for a lot from other mortals, because I've learnt not to have any great expectations, because I've been kicked so far down for so fucking long. I know better than to expect anything of anyone. If I can't provide something for myself, I wait, or occasionally I'll put it out there, this is something I need, I'm not in a position to provide for myself, and invariably some beautiful benefactor helps me out. But I never make demands, I just put it out there. This is what I need in this moment. And if it manifests, it manifests, and if it doesn't, I keep struggling along without that thing. So it's utterly, utterly miraculous and an immense gift that I was provided with a CPAP machine, by the way. and the other immense gifts that were gifted to me, like the air conditioner and, this laptop and 31 computers over the decades. 31. So, what is money but a beautiful gift and an energy that is ennobled when it's shared, and I'm rewarded in often astonishing, miraculous ways for the energy I pour out too. So I never regret the love, or I regret the sexual relationships that turned savage and life-threatening. I regret those, but I don't regret that I initially thought those men were good, kind, loving men. I don't regret that. I went into each relationship thinking and hoping for the very best, not always seeing the red flags or the writhing evil just quietly seething beneath their skin. Jesus, it's fucking astonishing if I look back on it. I'm still utterly mortified. But my life is different now. I'm surrounded by good, kind, noble men who would never strive to hurt me. Not maliciously, not like the others from years ago. So I'm grateful to you all, and I love you all. I really do. You can't quantify how much love I feel for you. A lot of it I actually hold back because I don't want to scare you or myself. There's a lot I hold back actually, in a holding pattern. And anyway, it is what it is. Je ne regrette rien. In true classic gaslighting and narcopathy, he lied to the courts, the adult guardian, and even 3 rabbis here in Brisbane, my mother's partner, later husband. But he did not stop at destroying me in the physical and legal worlds. No. When we went through my mother's house, there were 4 spells in glass jars with photocopied photos of me trapped in the jars. I mean, a photo in each jar, so that I was facing out but trapped by the glass, literally the glass ceiling, preventing me from getting justice. The evil, dirty bastard. Remind me, I need to find his grave at Redland Bay. I still need to piss on it. Jared won't let me. He said it's not good magic to do that. Well, maybe not, but I have my own magic, babies. Anyway, sometimes I have to let it go, let it flow, and always in one, darlings. Oh, that man was evil, purest of evil, by the gods. But my mother wanted him. She used to say to me, "Don't worry, darling, I know what I'm doing." She was dementing. They should never have even allowed the marriage. She was already dementing. Another miscarriage of justice. He has 2 castles, one in Hungary and one in Transylvania, Romania. She showed me the photos of the castles. I said, "Mummy, anyone can get a photograph off the internet and make a nice little," it was presented as like a collage, and then put on, he'd even covered it in what do you call it, that plastic, oh, there's a name for it. You put it through the machine and It's covered, laminate. He'd even laminate, showing my mother how rich he was in his castles in Hungary and Transylvania. I laughed my ass off. I said, Mummy, you're in a relationship with Count von Buckula. He's just a vampire. He comes from Transylvania. He wasn't, he was Dutch Indonesian. He claims to come from royalty in Transylvania. I said, Mummy, can't you see how utterly absurdist and ridiculous and what a fantasy that even is? I said, that man doesn't own a castle. He doesn't even own his own fucking home. He's living in kind of some rental accommodation that he's turned into a boarding house. He's a bum. No, she says, he's very, very rich. I'm going to be very rich. She had her own money, by the way. My mother was not poor at that point in her life, having inherited via Uncle Case. I laughed. If I had realised for one moment how actually deluded and serious she was, that she actually believed that con man had castles in Hungary and Transylvania, if I had taken it just a little bit enough seriously, I could have changed the course of my entire inheritance. I could have had that man in jail for being a con man, possibly a rapist too. Anyway, my mother had to have him. She had to have him. She always had to have the coq supreme. If she set her mind to it, she had to have that man. It was evil what she did too. So you know what? As you sow, so shall you reap. Those two evil, dirty bastards kind of deserved each other, didn't they? Pity that it had long-standing effects on myself and my adult daughters, though. But anyway, let go, let God. That's sometimes the only thing you can do, is let go and let God. Here I continue writing. So he even utilised black magic against me. And it bloody well worked too, because I didn't know. I was completely oblivious to it till I was sent to go through the house to get the chattels out that I wanted to keep. That was how much he feared my reclaiming my power and my inheritance. Upon his death in 2008, the spells were shattered metaphysically, and a random stranger phoned me and told me to look after my mother, as he had died 3 weeks prior, and his spawn, my words, not her words, his daughters, his filthy, lying con artist daughters, had dumped Gisela, Mitzi, her nickname was Mitzi, the entity that had been my biological mother, but in real terms had been nothing but the most capricious, evil, negligent, vicious, paedophile enabling, and con artist fucking traitor in capital letters. Breathe, Tanya, breathe. That she almost killed me, not once, but many times throughout my life, usually by enabling others like Terry Rosilio and David Davidson and her own lover, Buck Shearer, with the constant threats and boundary violations and harassment and 3 of them actual physical attacks on me as well, strangulations. Yes, in a way they were all orchestrated and fed into and manipulated by my own mother, that I fought for her honour for 2 years in my Jewish community, by the way. I fought hard for basic human rights, actually. The fight was still a worthy one, even though it was fought for a woman who was not worthy of my love, but my own fucking mother. But that fight, that battle that I won the battle, but I lost the war, by the way, because some morons in my community still think I'm a Nazi. Oh, the irony. But anyway, that battle I fought was so that no one who converted and was raising their children in our temple would ever be discriminated against like that, or othered, or discriminated against, or sabotaged, or vilified, or stymied again. Well, that was my plan when I went into that fight, by the way, fighting for my own honour. By the gods. It's insane making. It's insane making when you think about it. But anyway, here I keep writing. Oh, my nose is itchy now. But I had kept my faith in myself and my higher power. Yes, I did. No matter what, no matter who, no matter what the Holy One or the multitude of gods threw at me or other mortals. I have always kept my faith in myself and my higher power. God or Goddess, all that is, was, and ever shall be. And suddenly, like a landslide, like dominoes all falling over one by one in a cascading pattern, Buck Shearer and Gisela Shearer and David Davidson and Gila Rosalie and Terry Rosalio, all their filthy, evil house of cards, of evil, perverted carrion feeding, began to collapse. It was astonishing. Very, very astonishing. Buck died, and Gila exposed her genitals and her true nature on national TV, Today Tonight to be exact. That's the calibre of that woman's soul. Bestial it was. The public trustee gave me my mother's chattels, no doubt with full knowledge that I would be financially raped in the will dispute, and I spent years fighting total strangers that had only wanted my mother's houses, money, etc., and wreaked hell on me and my daughters. I could maybe, possibly, forgive them for the hell they wreaked on me, even though it wasn't actually deserved either. But I will never, ever forgive those bastards here named for the psychological harm and damage they put my daughters through at an age when they were prepubescent and very vulnerable indeed. You dirty, evil bastards. Because of your actions, I lost both my daughters because of the psychological harms you put us three women through. I blame you. It was immense what we were put through and what we survived. And only because of my own strong will and my constant fighting and fighting alone, unsupported most of the time. It's no wonder that my mind began to crack. So immense was the trauma. I just saw a little red car driving up my side street here. And did you see me go like, for a moment I actually thought it was my daughter Crystal, but then I realised that car's a VW, so it's a totally different model, but it was just the colour red and the shape was similar to my daughter's car. I don't even know what car she drives actually, but it's red and it's little. Dear goddess. I thought, oh, she's come to see me at long last to reconcile. Alas, but no. It's another thing that's enough to make my mind fucking snap, as after decades and decades of struggle to get us through, I've been abandoned. There's no other word to describe it. So, but I won't cry. I won't cry. They're just manifestations of trauma and the most immense evil, and they too have a choice in how they respond to me as a mother. It goes both ways. I can't undo the damage that was wreaked upon us when they were young, because it was immense, and even I barely survived it as an adult woman, so alone with my two daughters. It's partly why my psychiatrist refers to me as Boadicea. It's very, very similar archetype, what we went through. I mean, you know, they weren't raped, but it was a soul rape and an emotional, mental raping that was beyond what we were put through. And those of you watching this video who choose not to believe me and want to invalidate me, go search through the police database. It's all there. It's all recorded. Apparently it's still there. The constant shit show that I went through trying to get support and protection and justice, by the way. And how I know that was when my daughter was under attack a few years ago, yet again. I said to them, I said, you tell those police that they better support you this time, because of their inadequacy and systemic abuse and neglect and dereliction of duty. Your mother ended up on a disability pension for the rest of her fucking life, and because of them, my government now has to pay and put food on my table and a roof over my head for the rest of my fucking life, because of the damage and the harms they actively enabled. I said to her, you tell that detective to look up the database. I'm not lying. I said, if they don't protect you now in this time of crisis and struggle, she'd had a home invasion, by the way. I said, Mama T will destroy every fucking government building and police station in Queensland. I was talking shit out of my asshole, as I usually do, because it's just metaphoric and poetic license. But I said, I will destroy you all if you allow any further harms to come to my daughters. There's been enough already. Anyway, she did. She told them. They looked up the database. They said, oh my God, this is the second time in your life, Crystal, that you've been put through such immense harm and trauma and threats. Yes, it's all here. It's on the permanent record. We can see what was going on back then. No fucking apology to me, by the way. But by the gods, did they pull it together to make sure she was protected this time? All by the gods. Because they know if they hadn't have protected my daughter this time, I truly would have gone to war on their heads. I don't know how I would have done it. I guess just by emoting on my video as I'm doing now, am I right? Holding my truth precious, guarded, sustained, protected. So go ahead and try to gaslight or invalidate or stymie or deny me my reality of what I survived and what I came through. Go ahead. The evidence remains. Unless, of course, they've done what the QE2 hospital did and threw out my patient record, am I right? It's possible that that database in the police might conveniently get eliminated too. Doesn't matter. I know the truth. It's in here and in here and in here. And even way down lower than that, babies. To the 7th echelons of hell and rising up back into manifestations of paradisical heavenliness. The truth remains now and forever, no matter what. But slowly, inexorably, excruciatingly, I rose up and shone. I had the help from Sylvia Shine, who loved me and insisted I write about my experiences on Facebook. My Facebook fuck-faced journaling that keeps me alive and gives me insight and meaning. It's a great gift that she insisted upon, that I write down my experiences. And I'm glad I did, because after all these years of Facebook journaling, I can cross-reference many, many things that other people have tried to shove under the carpet or deny or invalidate me, by the way. In the beginning was the Word, and in my ending there shall still be my words emanating out into the ether for eternity by the grace of YouTube and Vocal Media and Facebook, except for the few stupid nonsensical times that I was censored, by the way. Naughty, naughty, very naughty. But they will learn. History is written by the victors. They will learn that censoring too was a grave mistake on their part. But I'm okay. Slough the fuck off. Hit the ancient typewriter platen. Ding! And on we go, and on we go, and on we go. The Book of Life, L'chaim. But I have digressed. The constant battering on my body and psyche took its toll, and verily, verily, I should have suicided when my children were small, but I wanted my children more than my own life. Sad but true. So I hung on in my zombie state, so drugged out on Cajentan, which sent me blind for 4 days, Zyprexa and an assortment of other antidepressants, none of which healed my concurrent ground zero trauma issues, because the viciousness was fresh and raw, and there was no protection for me, no justice, No real support except for Lynn and Jared, who could not always be there, but whom did what they could to comfort me or lift me up when I dived deep into my death-like repose. Indeed they did. But Lynn reminded me I pulled myself through and out of it over 10 years now. 14 years and 4 months, almost 5 months since my mother's death. I've come a long way, babies. A long, long way. I never thought that I would come this far. I'm still struggling, and I'm still fighting on, and I'm still dancing my dance, and I'm still plying my troth and pleading my truth, but by the gods, I've come a long way. To you, Tanya Desiree Aarons. To you, baby girl. Over 10 years, I wrote at time of writing, since Gisela's death, so it was 2020. I no longer want to die or wallow in depression, trauma and despair. I no longer accept humiliation or false, atrophied, perverted people as friends. When someone reminds me that I am of no real intrinsic value to them, as happened on Saturday night, that my person or my home, which is an extension of my personhood, is not worthy in their eyes. He's looking at you, Dave, you lackluster motherfucker. I walk away, head held high. I don't allow people, no matter how fond I am or was of them, no matter how blind I was to their false friendship, love, acceptance, to rape my soul, body, mind, then be expected to grovel for mere scraps of human kindness. I have chosen life before, and a life that never truly chose me. A life of the most intense, cumulative abuse. Even on Cogentin, I knew I did not deserve this parody of psychotropic paraphernalia, of the most intense systemic abuse piled on top of all the other gross negligences and deliberate dehumanizations I had encountered. So Lynn reminded me, now while many of my friends are sleeping the long hours of a COVIDian despair and epic depression, and no judgment, I get it. It was how I survived so many attacks on so many fronts in the 1990s and 2000s, and even the early 2010s. I slept my life away, like Sleeping Beauty or Snow White poisoned by the apple. I slept and I slept, sometimes 16 hours a day. 16 to 20 hours a day. I would just get up, go to the toilet, have something to eat, brush my teeth, walk around in some kind of massive daze, crawl back into bed and pass out again. I did that for a long, long time. It's why I call myself a zombie, a re-innovated, revivified one. It's why it's so powerful and beautiful that I can dance sometimes for 2 nights, powerfully, with every cell in my body vibrating to the live music manifested by my friends in the bands. It's miraculous what I'm doing now, have been doing for the last 14 years. Absolutely miraculous. But even in the early 2010s, I was still having to sleep a lot. You know, I would pass out to sleep after, weekends of dancing. I'd go to my hairdresser on a Tuesday and I would still be so exhausted that I would literally just pass out. You can ask her, she'll tell you. I did that regularly. I fought a long, long battle against my own sleep apnea, by the way, which is only now being treated because my psychiatrist wants me alive. He wants me alive. He wants me thriving. He wants me dancing until I die. I'm actually only really doing this for him and for my few rare and precious friends, striving to stay alive in the vain hope that one day I might have a loving partner as well. But I must not ask for too much. Just be happy in my dancing with my truly loving friends and be graced and grateful for that much at least. It's true. It's all true, babies. It's all very, very true. I slept through it, shuffled through it, and miraculously survived 2 suicide attempts. Because my only goal was to see my kids grown into adulthood, then grow my own broken, beaten, mortified self. Well, I've achieved that. I've grown me back. It's mind-blowingly, astonishingly powerful and miraculous. And if I say so myself, beautiful too. So I woke up. I took what was left of my shattered life and I went dancing. I filled my life with joy and awareness and twirled and whirled and even fucking mushed myself back to life. Yes, I did. And I'm still doing it. It's a constant emanation, reinvigoration, and a defiance before all the gods that makes even the angels and the gods wring their hands in awe at times. To the Holy One and all manifestations, without whom I would not be making this video in this moment. 1:01 p.m. 1-1 sequence of numbers. Isn't that astonishing synchronicity? Alive and aware, gifted by my angels, earth angels as well as ethereal ones. So while everyone around me is currently plagued by the death culture that I know and understand so well, hence my love of skulls, Los Dios de Muertos in the Mexican culture, am I right? Living very comfortably, riding shotgun side by side with death as my closest ally. I've been doing that since very, very early childhood, by the way. I am joyously, bemusedly scratching my head, saying, "Come on, people, let's dance. Let's be in love with life. Let's party." I don't mean fuck everyone with your filthy COVIDian sneezes and your rancid STDs. But if you are healthy, make love to your lover, your spouse, your life, your world. Co-create, not decimate in squalor and torment and filth. So once again, the Tanya finds herself climbing up and out of the morass of declension and dissension, despair and disease, incongruently clutching to her pearls of wisdom and her own pearl that she once cast before swine, the kinds of men who dishonoured her light, love and body, who rejected and abandoned her because they knew whom she truly was, deserving, desirable, delightful and free, and let's face it, indomitable. They refused to love me or honour me or even treat me with the merest scrap of kindness. But still they come to stare or leer or taunt me. This was back in 2020. Thankfully, that curse seems to have been broken. I'm only gifted people who admire me and look at me with love and genuine awe these days. Thank you to those who are manifesting love for me by day and by night. I appreciate and value and cherish you so much, because that was my reality only 4 years ago. Not that long ago in the broad scheme of things. It's why I'm still astonished by the love that's being transmitted to me every day in every way. Real love. Maybe not romantic sexual love yet. If the gods allow it, that too shall manifest at the appointed time. But I'm delighting in all the other big agape platonic loves. Goddess bless you all, from the bottom of my soul to yours, my darlings. Absolutely, absolutely heartfelt and genuinely meant. Those were empty men with no decency or honour. Sad, but true. So what can I, the wonderful, beautiful, waiting for Godot in a time of COVID, Tanya, do? Well, I didn't catch COVID until October last year, 21st of October. What did I do? Made YouTube videos of me dancing wildly and singing huskily and raucously. That's what she does. She dances in the face of her own potential obliteration. Like Kali Ma. I haven't cut anyone's heads off because, you know, I don't like that kind of violence, but metaphorically speaking, like Kali Ma. Put one foot in front of the other, psychedelic, dream my life into a fully fleshed out fresco of some beautiful paradise somewhere, somehow, with someone who truly loves me, vibes with me, gets me, cares for me, and is capable and willing to share his life with me. And if that human does not exist for me, and he never comes and plights his troth and plies his truth, isn't it interesting? You used the exact phrasing earlier. And treats me with tenderness and couth, then, forsooth, fuck it. I have lived through far worse epochs. Come here, Charlie. Survived far worse monstrous men and their enabling poor excuses of women, especially my own mother. When I go down to Valhalla, or do you go up to Valhalla? The Valkyries fly down to earth and pick up the warriors from the battlefield who died with honour, and they fly up to Valhalla. So I guess I don't go down to Valhalla, I go up to Valhalla, depending, of course, if I'm deemed worthy in the sight of the gods as a warrior goddess. Hello, little baby. I was about to come and get you, but you came to me instead. What are you doing? What are you doing, little one? Are you being Charlie? Anyway, here I wrote. We'll stick with what I wrote because it's what I wrote and that's my reality. When I go down to Valhalla, it will be clothed in a raiment of such exquisite honour and beauty, bathed in my own light, even in my own raw nakedness. For I shall have the grand and sublime satisfaction knowing that I lived as best as I could in all my life circumstances, and I simply became the Tanya. From the comment section, me, clean up on aisle 7, the Tanya is extruding like a colander full of pasta, leaking all over the place. It's okay, we've got this. We'll scoop her up and staunch the flow and feast on her until we are well satiated and there is nary a scrap or morsel left. That crazy, delightful bitch will flesh herself out again. It's what she does. Wait, what? What happens when she cannot rebuild herself again? ? Then we will feast on her light in the next dimension. Love is eternal. There is no escape. The only way out is through the Tanya. Nom nom nom, motherfuckers. Falls over in her own slick void and giggles. Hello, hello, darkness, my old friend. Hold my bear, we got this. Yeah, I know, baby, I know. To Lynn, my truest, dearest sister, thank you for saying you are proud of me. You are the only one that is, or who is. There is or was so little of me to be proud of, but I hope in my small hobbit defragmented, butchered, but reconfigured way, I continue to make you proud. To summarize, for the people up the back, me. You treated me worse than a dirty whore, but I have survived. I have even thrived. I jive turkeyed my hide. So, fuck off, fuck you, fuck me. My own defiance has been my greatest virtue. It will probably also be the death of me someday, but it will be worth it. Then I posted a song, which meant the lyric from that song, a particular message was in that song, was flowing through my head, which I would have gone and had to look for the freaking song, identify the song, and then find it on Spotify and post the song. It's hard work sometimes when I get gifted random lyrics. I don't always know what the song is from. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it's a bit obscure and I have to hunt for it. My spirit people like me to pass out meaning and interpret, and they like me to work hard for it sometimes. I'm always grateful when they give me messages clear and concise and direct that cannot be misinterpreted, or that are not cryptic, or that I have to struggle to figure out the meaning, because I'm very concrete. It's part of my brain damage from a lifetime of trauma as a child. Is I'm very concrete. Don't give me obscure, incomprehensible, riddle type messaging. You have to tell me the truth and you have to make it clear and concise. Otherwise, things fly over my head. I don't always understand what's going on. And I've always been that way since early childhood. It's not my fault, but it's one of the things that sometimes frustrates my friend Lynn. She says, I'll try to tell you things in a way that's a bit oblique so that it's, protecting, I guess, other people's mental spaces. And I don't get it. It's like, she goes, it just flies over your head. Sometimes it hits me later, but then I can misinterpret it and get dreadfully upset, thinking, were they taking the piss, or were they having a dig at me? I'm very vulnerable in that regard. I shouldn't even fucking tell YouTube my vulnerabilities, by the way, because it can be used against me. But I've reached a point in my life where I'm honest about who I am and what I've come through, and I've got nothing to be ashamed of. Not one solitary fucking thing. I fought long and hard to be me, and I won't compromise on that. I just simply won't. Anyway, the song, it's quite comical actually, my spirit people. They're very funny, very mischievous and funny at times. Sent me was absolutely story of a girl. This is a story of a girl, something, rocked the whole world. Something, no matter what. We absolutely love her when she smiles. Words to that effect. So, yeah, awesome. They love it when I smile, my spirit people. They know my happiness comes. Very hard won indeed. Very hard won. Given my own struggles and my mental health issues that were not all innate but afflicted upon me by monsters. So yes, Happy birthday, Tanya. It's not my birthday, but I'm wishing myself every day is a celebration and a birthday for me, given what I've come through. It's why my birthday is so deeply valued and precious and cherished by me, if only by me, by the way. It's all good, it's all good. Timely reminder, I don't know who the author is, but they speak to truth. This was written by someone else, but I've copied and pasted it because absolutely loved it and it resonated with my own musings. It's a pity I don't know who the author was, because they should be acknowledged for their writing. So if you know who the author of this piece was, or you are the author, please say who you are in my comment section on this YouTube, because I like to give credit to other people's art and creativity, by the way. Me. Hello, Creator. Creator. Hello. Me. I'm falling apart. Can you put me back together? Creator. I'd rather not. Me. Why? Creator. Because you're not a puzzle. Me. Oh, I've got chills. I can feel it surging through my body like electricity. Me. What about all the pieces of my life that fall to the ground? Creator. Leave them there for a while. They fell for a reason. Let them be there for a while, and then decide if you need to take any of those pieces back. Me. You don't understand. I am breaking. Creator. No, you don't understand. You're transcending, evolving. What you feel are growing pains. You're getting rid of the things and people in your life that are holding you back. The pieces are not falling down. The pieces are being put in place. Relax. Take a deep breath and let those things you no longer need fall down. Stop clinging to pieces that are no longer for you. Let them fall. Let them go. Me. Once I start doing that, what will I have left? Creator. Only the best pieces of yourself. Me. I'm afraid to change. Creator. I keep telling you, you're not changing. You're becoming. Me. Becoming? Who? Creator. Becoming who I created you to be. A person of light, love, charity, hope, courage, joy, mercy, Where's she going? Grace and compassion. I made you for so much more than those shallow pieces you decided to adorn yourself with and that you cling to with so much greed and fear. Let those things fall off you. I love you. Don't change. Become. Become who I want you to be, who I created. I'm going to keep telling you this until you remember me. There goes another piece. Yes, Creator says, yes, let it be like this. Me? So, I'm not broken? Creator, no, but you're breaking the darkness like dawn. It's a new day. Become who you really are. Snippets of writings from my diaries and other unfinished prose, which sometimes ad hoc just get thrown into random journal entries. I don't even know why. It makes no sense cognitively, but there must have been some reason, some thought or theme or aspect that I wanted to remind myself of. So here it goes, babies. June 2012. That actually didn't occur in June 2012. That goes way, way back early in my friendship with Jared to the, well, it would have been during my separation period, 1995, this would relate back to, possibly 1996. Those were very dark, dark times too. But anyway, I wrote it down in June 2012 is what I mean by that, I think. There I was, passed out, doing the zombie sleep again, am I right? Passed out, my face on Jared's chest, actually drooling on his t-shirt, soaking in the comforting, musky scent mixed with his aftershave or deodorant. I'd slept like that for an hour, the intimacy such as I hadn't experienced since early childhood with my own father. And it's not a sexual intimacy I'm describing here. Jared and I are like, we are family. He's like a brother to me. There was no sexual connotation to that at all. Just feel the need to clarify in case people want to misinterpret or misconstrue my words. It was a gift that Jared gave me, patiently allowing me to snuggle like that, something I very rarely do. I'm vulnerable like that with a man. It's very, very rare. His sister watching on, concerned and perplexed. In that moment I awoke to see her watching me and to become aware of my drool on Jared's chest. Isn't that beautiful and astonishing that he let me lie there like that on his chest like a baby drooling? That's why he's my brother. Not a biological brother, but a brother of soul and heart and mind and spirit. I love you, Jared. Thank you for that beautiful gift you gave me at that moment in time. It's not forgotten. It will never be forgotten. It's here, written down in the ether for eternity, my friend. We'd been watching movies on the VCR. That's how you know it was the 90s. I can't remember the movie or what led me to pass out to sleep like that. Only the comforting, babbling sound you hear in the background in half-consciousness. The smell of maleness, the comfort, the sheer peace of being coddled like that. As I said, a rarity. Jared, in that time, well, I meant in that moment, that hour of time, I guess, had been father, brother, friend, comforter, never lover, but way, way better, unconditionally loving and accepting. Something I craved then, something I crave now. I have always craved unconditional acceptance. My olfactory sense gave me other gifts of comfort and ease. I remember my best friend's mother, June Robertson, a nurturing, sweet, caring, but emotionally fragile woman, my mother of the heart who lived 3 doors from me. I still cherish her strong embrace and her teal blue Chanel robe. I should have written, and I remember her teal blue Chanel robe. The sensation of the material against my child's face, her cuddly warmth as I wrapped my arms around her full waist, the sweet smell of womanhood and Lux soap, or sometimes Pears soap, her love which enveloped me like a cloud. She encouraged, nurtured, upheld me. She validated me, gave me a sense of worth and meaning. She fed me with meringues she baked herself, which as a child I called meringues because I'd read the word before I'd learnt how to pronounce it. Cute. Lovely puddings, roast dinners, fish fingers, ice cream, custard with the most extraordinarily nourishing of all, her acceptance, her great love and her positivity, teaching me to hope when all was hopeless, to strive, to keep going, to keep living, even when she herself would struggle to keep hoping, keep living. June understood my pain as it was a reflection of her own. She would take to her bed for days at a time, mired in depression, and Lynn and I would struggle to bring her mother out of the malaise, the grief, the slow, mind-numbing despair which she suffered from. June and I would embrace. I would inhale her scent, her soul. I can still almost smell her to this day. I would just love her, and often would be the one to make her laugh. She would delight in my impish antics and my childish giggling. She would shyly raise her fingers to her lips in a gentle, hesitant gesture, in a quivering grace, as though to cover her mouth, as though free, frolicking laughter was somehow unseemly, forbidden. But her eyes would light up, and she would, almost guiltily, join in laughter with me. It was moments like these when I saw the girl inside the woman, beaten down by disappointment, poverty, an alcoholic, often brutal husband, and the sanguine lack of compassion from her own child, who was mired in her own pain and inculcated resentments. They loved each other, don't get me wrong. They did love each other. But it's the trauma dynamic, the resentments and the shutting off and the not coping. When you have a mother with mental illness, mired in her own complex traumas, it makes for a very difficult mother-child relationship. I mean, I repeated that history with my own children, did I not? Intergenerational trauma is a thing, people. A monstrous fucking thing that I've had to fight back from too. I love to see that inner passion, that sweet spirit, the ghost of the past, the potential for her future, her light, her strength, her all-consuming, abiding love that would not lay down and die. God knows, individually, she and I both tried too many times. That endured and held on long enough for her to finally get her freedom in her later years, after 26 years of marriage. She was a deeply loving, loyal woman. Deeply loyal. It's probably where I get that from too. She was a mother that I was role modelling on. That level of loyalty and deep, deep love. That even though she's long dead is still a tangible, powerful thing that I can almost reach up and grab from the ether and hold precious still after all these many, many decades. A memory written of even date, but in 2016. Oh my God, I love my friend Jared, who missed out on 3 hours of his work to listen to me babble frothily and endlessly about nothing much, complete with mad intermittent giggling. Love you, man. You put up with so much of my quirkiness Yes, he still does. And in 2020 I added, I also love Nigel and Lynn, who let me babble on this evening. Jared this afternoon. That means I was hypomanic if I'm babbling like that. Where would I be without my soul family who love me in all my varied, mysterious ways? Where would I indeed? I'll tell you where I'd be. Not here, that's for sure. 27th of July 2019. Here's a photo of Socks. Can you see him? Looking very hale and hearty there indeed. It's a beautiful boy. Socks enjoying the winter sun. Here he is lying underneath the like the fencing I put up to grow beans or something on, but they didn't survive. But Socks enjoyed it, lay there in the sun, enjoying my fencing efforts. You have to laugh how I struggle to achieve things on my own. It's quite astonishing sometimes. Sally wrote, "Oh, he looks so adorable. We'll come see you soon." And I replied, "He had a belly rub yesterday. Was a very satisfied, fat cat. Meow." I'm glad he's spending the sunny days outside. Even Sophie insisted she be let outside this morning in the loudest, most obstinate yells. Pardon me. They are relishing winter. Don't know why I've got reflux. All I had was a piece of toast with honey and butter on it this morning. It's ridiculous. It's probably still related to the congestion I have from the CPAP. So there is that. 23 days of CPAP, but look, at least my nose isn't running constantly like it was. That was awful. That was really getting on my nerves. I must admit I'm enjoying these sunny but mild days too. This is the first winter I've not had to rely on my electric blanket. It's still on the spare bed. Highly unusual. There were a few nights I missed it, but I put on pyjama pants and a cardigan. I've been so weak after the last 2 surgeries, still in recovery from the last one, but at least it isn't the extraordinary pain I had with my teeth for 3 hot summers. Thank heavens for small mercies. That was a hellscape. In the end, the chronic tooth pain, I actually seriously contemplated. I woke up one morning writhing in agony. I seriously contemplated throwing myself in front of a train, and I had to spend about 2 hours talking myself down, almost hysterical, and then all of a sudden, in the midst of all that, this almost oversoul just descended upon me and said, "Stop panicking, Tanya. You simply have to go back to the dentist. You have to demand that they find out what is wrong, or you will die of this, one way or the other." I mean, I was kind of in danger of getting sepsis. They left me with that infection for so long. But anyway, I did. I fought my way through. But it was a hellscape that lasted every summer it would just flare up again. Or it would be another tooth and another tooth. It was mind-numbingly, bone-crushingly horrific. 27th of July 2018. Trigger warning. child abuse, drugs, domestic violence, and a little unravelling. And before you ask, I am okay. Moi. So this is going to be rather painful for some of you who are vulnerable right now. So turn me off, go and have a cup of tea or coffee or a bit of schnapps, whatever you need to do to ride through your own existential angst and your own traumas. But I can't escape from mine. I have to continuously ride through it. And so here we go, babies. I just had a strange epiphany about my childhood. My mother lived on barbiturates and benzos during her marriage to my father. They both abhorred marijuana or cannabis and nicotine and were anti-drug. Yet Gisela hoovered the slimming pills and sleeping pills and Valium with careless aplomb, sometimes mixing them all throughout the day, so she would have uppers and downers, which even my drug-fueled, drug-fucked ex-boyfriend Courtney said was dangerous. He said any druggie worth their salt can tell you don't mix uppers with downers. And so my mother would surf these completely almost psychotic breaks from mixing her medications. She even had a thalidomide during her pregnancy with me. Thankfully only one for nausea, but miraculously she didn't like it much. Thanks for that. I do have anomalies in my body though that are probably attributed to that. I won't tell you where, it's too embarrassing, but never mind. But anyway, by the early 70s, she was grinding her teeth and tearing at her hair and looked at me and declared, I think these slimming tablets are making me aggressive. I might just stick to being fat. Tanya, aged about 10, nodded sagely with the patience of an already long-term trauma patient. Jesus. Good idea, Mum. Well, anyway, I just realised that my father, a wild, verbally aggressive, occasionally violent man who never hit us, but I was thrown across the room by Angela in an effort to protect me from being bashed. My 3-year-old personage was blocking the TV. Well, I never saw any Valium prescribed for him. No Valium. Nothing to quell his frayed temper and jangled nerves coming home from work, which was always precarious. He once held 3 different jobs in one day, sacked from all of them. He drank often, but I would not consider him an alcoholic. He would blow his fuse, then grab his wetsuit and go scuba diving. Or there was the awkward and embarrassing time he rowed his dinghy far out into the Cook Strait and mysteriously lost his oars, or his oar, AWE, question mark. He was eventually rescued and brought back to our house in Island Bay. The wooden dinghy eventually blew ashore in a storm, one of our characteristically howling tempests that were the frequent backdrop to my tumultuous childhood. Fierce, bitingly cold winds and driving rain, fog. I slept many a night with the sounds of foghorns and my parents screaming. Was that watery sojourn on his dinghy an attempt at suicide? He never mentioned it. His spiritualism kept him grounded, I suppose. Grounded, yet ungrounded in reality. Singing me Tiny Tim and plucking that ukulele with maniacal glee. Belly laughing as he sent subliminal messages to my mother by singing, "They're going to take me away, ha ha, ho hum." They never did. God, I am lying here with these sweet childhood memories of his masculinity, and I can almost smell him. Old Spice mixed with ferocity and pheromones, washing powder and sea salt spray. He did have a lovely scent, my father. He was an arsehole, but he smelt delicious. I'll credit where it's due. You've always got to be fair. Why am I even remembering him, my progenitor that failed to protect and defend me, even until I was 35, aligning himself with my mother and Buck the schmuck, he, Count von Dracula, Buckula we used to call him, of the Transylvanian castle he never actually owned. Oh! Keep flying in hell, you filthy bastard, wherever you are. Just keep flying like a bat in your own hell of your own making. What hold did my mother still have over him, meaning my father, that he chose her and other husbands, lovers, male friends over the safety and sanity of his daughter? And you can add to that his grandchildren as well, by the way. Well, no point thinking about it now. I am free and happy to be without all of them. Thank you for the remedy, cannabis and psychotherapy, dancing and a few good friends, love and light amidst the supernal smiting from the Sephirot. Thank you, cannabis. I wish I could access it regularly. I really could deal with some sometimes. I really could. Just to take away the edge off the trauma. But I don't know anyone that can supply it to me anymore, so I had to resort to smoking my Wee Willem cigars, which is okay, but it's not quite the same result that I need right now. But anyway, don't get me wrong. I'm okay, babies. I don't need drugs to be okay. It just would be nice just to take off that little bit of an edge sometimes. And last night I only drank 2 Jack Daniels because I'd had 4 the night before, so that's enough. I don't like to drink too much alcohol either. It's like something I would never want a dependency on. I saw that ugliness in my childhood too. But anyway, here I write, probably craving something just to take the edge off. Thank you, cannabis. Thank you, Australia. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, dissolution. Thank you, reintegration. Thank you, flawless imperfection. Thank you, beauty. Thank you, life. Thank you, all of it fucking fantastic. Charlie just bit down on my top lip so hard that he drew blood, and now I have a very swollen lip. So he is on time out in his cage, and I am shoving an ice brick in my face. Psychedelic dreamer's world, never a dull moment. 27th of July 2018. Never mind, Mama, I still love you. Cheers. Fangs a lot. Beauregard. God, I miss him. God, I miss him. One of the greatest loves of my life. Something magical is evolving in my tiny fragmented world. Fragmented as I've been cut off from so many aspects of myself as a fully fleshed out thriving woman on this planet in the southern hemisphere of the Western world, on a marvellous marbled blue planet inhabited by myriads of life forms, but ruled by often vicious Homo sapiens, who are also ruled by capricious gods and societal mores and barely coherent social constructs. I have failed at finding and keeping a loving, nurturing, supportive sexual relationship, i.e., a life partner, a mate, a member of the opposite sex, who I can trust with my heart, body, and soul. It would have been more fun trying to find a perfect fit, or even a good enough fit, if my early childhood programming, nah, fuck it, let's be real here, my early gestational wiring had not been so influenced by the hormones of aggression, attempted abortions, yada yada yada, then compounded by childhood sexual abuse, verbal violence in the home, much instability and fear, physical attacks, constant soul-destroying invalidation of my humanity and femaleness, all of which I barely survived. Then in adulthood, I put myself in a long holding pattern by marrying very young. I mean, I was barely an adult, let's face it, 19, for the love of all the gods. Given my trauma background, that marriage should not have even been allowed at that age either. I was the age of consent to marry, don't get me wrong, but any sane person should have said, nope, there's too much damage going on in this young woman's life. She needs to form her brain at 25 before she even thinks about cohabiting or marrying a mortal human man. But no one fucking protected me yet again. But don't worry, it was my own stupid adolescent idea, and to be fair, I was determined. I fought for that cock supreme. I asked him to marry me not once but twice. I don't even know what the fuck that was about now, except probably seeking safety. By the gods, and how that blew up in my face very early in the piece. And here we have, I'm going to segue, Heckle and Jekyll silently watching me and listening to me regaling my stories to you, quietly and peacefully. All hail Odin. He's here with us today, powerfully, to the gods. Where was I? Then an adult, I put myself in a long holding pattern by marrying very young in a naive but confident attempt. Youth is wasted on the youth. to grab at life and create my own family, but landed squarely in a long paradigm and a firing line, as all I attained was more abusers, cheerfully enabling my mother's narcopathic and never relenting invasion of my mind space, family, hopes and dreams. It took me until 2 years after her death. I was 47 and free at last, to even realise that now I could no longer measure my self-worth or success in mere survival, but in somehow attempting to thrive. Babies. It took until so many abuses compounded all at once on the 22nd of August 2015, a few months after turning 50, in a vortex of hell that had been bubbling and seething all my life. Defamation threats, stalking and harassment by a pernicious, vicious little woman at the casino, another false twin flame exposing me to even more deep shadow work, my constant refrain of unrequited love, my nascent work supporting other survivors on child sexual abuse forums during the Royal Commission, and discovering that my voice was valued and appreciated, if only by the very few. But then I was shunned and shunted, as my contribution on this planet was considered so minimal from an academic and acquisitive standpoint, for me to finally attempt to end my life. Well, not intelligent, not successful, but emotionally, the only sensible reaction to decades of bullshit that I could come up with at that time. It was, and still is, the most profound gift also. I discovered something very beautiful had been born in that fugue state window period when life and all, capital S, spirit, recalibrated me. I began to move forward, knowing that for me there is no get out of life card, no easy out. I always joked I have a PhD in life, when in actuality I dropped out of university at 18 due to the culture of abuse I encountered while in student politics, and decided I was depressed and could not survive in that environment. Years later, I dropped off my perch again, business owner with my abusive husband, high status as a mother and a wife, and fell into the abyss of poverty and, yes, more inherently violent abusive relationships that came along after that. I floundered again and again and lost 30 years as a zombie. 30 fucking years I lost. A shuffling, drooling, barely functioning automaton. The only reason I stayed alive, and it was hard, was for my children. I was not going to let any of my abusive family members get their claws into them. As it was, we were constantly threatened and maligned and slandered and debased. So, Mama T, the Tanya, me, can add Miss 5 into that. Never forget Miss 5. Has not made it in this life. I probably never will. My psychiatrist, who was a tad in awe of my convoluted mind, wanted me to go back to university to get a degree last year. It's probably partly why he's fighting so hard for me getting CPAP to bring me back into stronger and better health. So if I wanted to, that might still be an option one day. But frankly, I don't want to. I don't want to ever be in an institution again at the mercy of arseholes. It's something I'm very, very stubborn about, not being at the mercy of arseholes. But I'm a wonderful writer, as my friend Scott reminded me again last night. And I have the potential to write wonderful things one day, happy things, powerful things, uplifting things. But my writings are already here, powerful, not always happy, but motivating and uplifting, showing you what I've come through and what you too can overcome in your own life with enough heart and soul and just sheer bloody determination, grit and determination, and enough powerful, loving friends and or psychiatrists to drag you through, sometimes kicking and screaming by the hair, by the way. It wasn't so easy. So don't ever underestimate me or the power of my doctors or my friends or my spirit folk, my angels, the ancestors that love me and the gods of my understanding. I didn't do this alone. I had a lot of support, even from unseen beings. Never ever fuck with the Tanya. Just for that reason alone. It's not wise. I wouldn't recommend it. And yet so many historically tried. After he suggested that I go back to university with the best intentions of in the world, I mean, he's my ally and trustworthy, the only man I trust completely, actually, with my mind, spirit and body. Well, not that he would ever invade my body because therapeutic alliance, but you know what I mean. He's the only man on this earth that I 1,000% trust. And sometimes I even quaver on that occasionally when I'm triggered. But he's proven it to me many times that he has my back. An amazing, wonderful doctor. But anyway, on that instance, I immediately went into breakdown mode. I was furious for months. I don't function in institutions. I have issues with authority figures, males who attempt to dominate me, lawyers, police, judges who don't respect women or even do their job properly and decently, teachers. If you see me arc up, which I do occasionally, I'm arcing up against the oppression of someone trying to present to me as an authority figure. Not wise, not cricket, don't do it. There's very few human beings that I look up to and have on a pedestal that I will ever fucking submit to. I can't even remember who they are now. Maybe my psychiatrist from time to time I have ceded to, like with agreeing to go on CPAP, but that was primarily to heal my bladder because I simply couldn't go on the way I was, having to pee 8 to 20 times a night. So even I had to see the voice of reason and obey doctor's orders there. And again, I wasn't happy about it. I had a breakdown over the thought of that too. Fortunately, it only lasted about 2 or 3 days, but it was fucking intense when it happened. So anything that invades my personal body autonomy and my personal feelings of freedom and my personal human rights, anything poking that particular bear, you'll see me arc up and or spiral into breakdown mode. So don't do that. It's not cool. But I mean, my doctor didn't do that like out of maliciousness. He wants the best for me, and I know that. But my reaction was intense. It made me realise I still have a lot of work to do still on my own mental health, so that I don't have such a powerful reaction against someone even wanting something that they perceive as good for me. There was a lot of convincing, by the way. A lot of fucking convincing. Anyway, my bladder is moderately better, but my lungs are still not impressed. So I'm having to bring everything into perfect alignment and come literally online and in alignment to heal this. It's going to take time, people of Earth. If ever, it's going to take time. Here I continue writing. I arrogantly, because it is, I suppose, a form of arrogance, but it's also a form of maintaining my own body, mind and spirit complex. I arrogantly deny or subvert attempts to mould or mollify me into some sort of successful model of existence. Why? So much was torn from me, both literally and figuratively. I am underdeveloped and poorly whelped. I'm not really that bad anymore, but back then that's how I felt in 2018. Still so many parts of me are unintegrated and disintegrated. I have the chutzpah to prefer my expert opinions on the pages of friends and on forums, but really, I know I am a schmuck. I say this with some hubris and some humour. For only a fool and a schmuck can climb the mountain to observe the view, knowing fully that she is, rather inevitably, about to fall again. As an aside, I think that is why I loved it so much when on rare occasions in pubs I have been thrown up in the air and captured again by wild, exuberant men. There is great ecstasy in the fall, or, as my father used to quip, it's not the fall that hurts, it's the sudden stop at the bottom. Only the truly fallen can celebrate the magic and wonder of being caught in a millisecond of time, protected, adored, and placed back on our feet. The hero's journey, or the victim/survivor's quest for integration in a disentangled world, is humorous yet sublime. 53 years in the making, try 59 years now. 20 years of therapy, try Well, that would make it 26 years now. I guess that's about right, actually. Time slipping third base. Still alive, but only because of my beloveds, spirits and human friends, and my psychiatrists, who were more stubborn than I. I am still holding on for a big, big love. Maybe next life. Winky face. Here I am, psychedelic dreamer, the Tanya, naked and sacred, allowing possibilities and potentialities, beginning the begin with a whole lot of nothing and empty pockets, a churning hunger, a slick soliloquy, and love in my chest, thrumming wholeheartedly and stoutly like a boiler room in the Titanic, supercharged by grueling, grinding men to feed that furnace as my personal ship surges forward to that inevitable iceberg. Ah, but dreamer, you live in the subtropics. The ice will melt and your soul will meld. Fuck off, higher mind. You are messing with my metaphors. Laughter in the spheres. Now I want to segue a moment. Last night when I went to say goodbye to my friend Scott, I realised during my dance, Scott, if you watch my videos, I don't know if you do, but I'm going to speak the truth here of what I think is going on between us. It's very, very potent and powerful and a little bit frightening, I'll be honest. I'm a little bit in awe. I probably shouldn't put this in a public YouTube video, but there's nothing to be ashamed of that's gone on between us, really. Just our childlike wonder and bit of mischief, Nothing serious going on. But I realised during the dance as I moved into that psychic space in my full trance zone, and I began to mosh, and yes, you were watching me with consternation because we have a contract that I don't do the full 360 degree mosh, and you can be proud of me because I held back on that because I always keep my word, Scott, not just to you but to my other friends and my psychiatrist too. I don't like being controlled and I don't like having my agency taken away from me, but I honoured my promise. I just did the side to side and the up and down, but I didn't do the full whirling dervish spin. But anyway, during that vibe, that zone, I realised how attuned you are to me. I actually realised it, and it's a tad astonishing, and I only really have that level of attunement. I had it for a long time with that useless, lackluster, false lover, Dave Charles, and I had a very powerful attunement with David Davidson. I'm not saying that you're like them, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you have malicious intentions towards me. I'm just talking about the psychic and or spiritual attunement. I have it a bit with Juddy too, to be honest. Hence my big agape love for Juddy and my pouring so much energy into him recently with recent news. It's intense, and I'm calibrating it. I'm trying to understand it with a logical headspace, and it's not logical, it's spiritual, my darlings. So I know I frighten you both, probably on some levels. You probably think I'm a besotted, crazy old, love-struck, love-sick, desperate, lonely, pathetic older woman, and it looks like that. I know. I know it looks like that. Because I do have a deep love for you, Scott. And I kind of have a deep love for Juddy too, but it's not of a romantic nature with Juddy. It's got a different flavour to it. Let me just explain it delicately. With you, Juddy, if you watch my videos, I just love how you've been so protective of me, and I've seen the deep sweetness of your soul. Both you and Scott have such a sweetness that I recognize because it resonates with my sweetness. We're like molasses and honey and peanut brittle and sugar all just stirred into some kind of ambrosiac type brew that we could almost nourish ourselves from, just from that love alone. So please don't misinterpret what I'm saying here. It's not about sex. All right, maybe with Scott, there is that little bit of a component, but he's always been a gentleman to me, and decent and loving and kind, and it's soul nourishing to me, actually. It's very soul nourishing and deeply cherished and appreciated. So anyway, I went over to hug him, which I don't usually do. Usually he comes to me and hugs me, as I guess is a mark of respect, because, he's the married one and I'm the single one, and he's just letting me know this true heartfelt affection towards me that is purely platonic, and respectful and caring. So I went over to hug him last night, and I said, he was busy packing up, still in his own kind of trance, hadn't noticed me standing right in front of him, which I marked because I find that interesting, that our soul connection is based on when we move into our zone. Him being, him and Luke and Paulie too, being musicians. After playing for hours, they're actually in a form of trance state. Maybe they're not conscious of it, but I am. I'm very conscious of it because I recognize it again in myself. Anyway, I stood in front of him and he eventually realised I was there, and I said, "See you in 2 weeks, Scott." And he bent down and gave me, our traditional, sweet, platonic, agape, nothing sus, people of earth, hug, And then he said to me, I was a bit confused actually. What do you mean 2 weeks? And I went, well, you normally play here every 2 weeks. And then he said, oh, that's because I'm playing next week, as a replacement for Juddy. So I nodded, okay. And then out of character, which was unusual, he asked me if I was okay, if I was feeling okay, which I thought was strange, but I guess it's him worrying about me moving in and out of my trance states as I do. And I said, of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be okay? And I realised he's so deeply attuned to me, and that he worries about me far too much than he should actually worry, to be honest. So he said to me, you know, Tanya, it's perfectly okay if you don't come dancing, you know, next week, or you have a break for a week here and there. He said, you've poured so much energy into this space every week. And he said, it's okay if you want to take a break. And I nodded, and I said to him, oh, so I said, you know, do you not want me to dance, you know, for you next week? He said, oh, no, you do what you want to do, Tanya. If you want to dance, you dance. I'm happy to see you when you come out dancing, but, you know, I just want you to know that it's okay if you wish to take a break. So I'm very grateful that he acknowledges that I have expended a shit ton of energy this weekend, and that I get depleted and that I might need a break. I'm very grateful and appreciative of your protection, Scott, and your deep love for me. It's very kind and nurturing and soul nourishing. And I'll see how I go on Friday. If I'm exhausted on Friday, I may stay home. But you know, and I know, and the gods know, and my psychiatrist knows that if I feel reasonably okay, I'll be out dancing, because that's what I do and who I am, and it's a contract I have with my own self and my gods, and I enjoy participating and watching you all play your music, and I enjoy the amazing powerful energy that we all contribute all together. And yeah, I hope and pray that I'm still and always welcome, and that it long may continue. And you know, I guess that's where I'm at the current point in time. Just very conscious that, you know, things change and situations change, and I guess there may come a time when I've worn my welcome mat out, or I've got on everyone's last nerve, or whatever it is I've done wrong. I don't know, because I thought I was contributing and participating, and I've had the most wonderful time the last 12 months. I really have had the most wonderful, I've had the time of my life, and I felt protected and cared for in that space, and I felt surrounded by loving, kind, supportive, generous, sweet souls. So no bullshit. I love you all, and yeah, I just wanted to say that. I'm grateful, and I love you all, and if the time comes that I move on into another space, I don't know what or where, then I guess that will happen at the appointed time under whatever circumstances. But I want you to know it won't be of my own volition, because I absolutely adore you all. And Thursday night, in honour of Jari, was pure fucking magic, and I adored every moment of it, and God's bless to you all. Anyway, when I finished off that paragraph, fuck off higher mind, you were messing with my metaphors, I finished it with laughter in the spheres, and that's my relationship with the gods. They like to tweak me occasionally or use me occasionally like a hollow bone to be a catalyst or a messenger, or sometimes a shaman, and it can be misinterpreted, and my intentions are honourable, always and forever honourable. And I know that your intentions towards me have been and still are honourable too, even with worrying about me doing my mosh. So here it is again, I wrote later on. I'm taking up space and finding my place. This is in 2018, people. It's taken that long to find my little niche and the people who love me and honour me and treat me with kindness and respect and sometimes admiration and awe. Not that I'm particularly deserving of admiration or awe, but just my life history, what I've come through, you know? I'm no better, I'm no more special, I'm no more important than any other soul on this planet. I'm just finding my way like everyone else. So don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. My friend Catherine Holdsworth commented almost instantly with a cute little emoji, and I replied, "Haha, how did you comment so quickly when I was still editing and ad-libbing my prose? Magic happens, my clever Catherine. Love you." And my friend Louise Winton wrote back, "Tanya, you are fantastic." I don't see myself as fantastic. I guess I'm just grateful and happy to be alive and have wonderful people in my life, on and off Facebook and in real world. I truly am. I truly, truly am. So grateful to you all and so blessed. I'm even fucking grateful for some of my aforementioned enemies, because without their viciousness and callow, cruel, undermining, life-threatening, fucking perverted games, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I had to regrow from all of that too. So I'm not like most other people is what I'm saying. I'm not better than you. I'm not more fantastic than anyone else. But I'm unique, as we all are, with our unique issues and struggles in life. And I stand alone in my own integrity and body autonomy and warrior goddess battlements, because that's what I've come through. That's what built me. That's what shaped me. And I can't be any other person, you know. I mean, I'm looking forward to a life of peace and comfort and ease for my old age, but there's some things that I'm never going to completely shuck off. Not completely. And it's cost me dear. It's cost me love partnerships with beautiful men that might have been drawn in, but all they saw was the destruction and the brokenness, and my kintsugi'd heart glued back together too many times. It frightened them off, actually. Or for many years, up until recent years, only drew in more predators because they saw the cracks where the light got in, and they thought they would just split me open a bit fucking more. It wasn't enough that I was already cracked like a fucking Fabergé egg. The intrinsic beauty and the value is still tucked away deep inside, and some of you have witnessed it in my YouTube videos and my writings and in my wild dance, and some of you have acknowledged it. To you, my darlings. Here I posted, we're 3 hours and 25 minutes in. This is a very long video, but on we go, babies. Here I posted a meme by, it's from the movie Girl Interrupted, starring Winona Ryder. A wonderful movie. If you've never seen it, highly recommend. Sometimes the only way to stay sane is to go a little crazy. Yep. Or as my former forensic psychiatric nurse friend used to say to me, people go mad to save themselves. And that's true. It's also a sign of a true shaman, someone that's cracked, completely wide open, so completely blown apart that the spirits came in and used us as vessels of healing or knowledge or enlightenment or empowerment or whatever gift we were given in that moment. Sometimes, in my case, several times over, by the way, the dark nights of the soul that were astonishingly terrifying, especially when I was a younger woman on my own with 2 young children in poverty, under constant threat. Gotta shake it off. Shake it off. I'll have to do the mosh. Scott, I'm going to do the mosh. It's building, it's coming, it's coming. He's looking into this. If he watches my videos, he'll be looking at my face going, don't do it, Tanya. Don't do the mosh, Tanya. It's a running joke between us now. It's a running joke. But that's why, for me, that 360-degree mosh is so fucking powerful, by the way. I'm shaking off all the ugliness and negativity and hate and indifference and apathy and neglect and abandonment and treachery and cruelty and disease and dis-ease and depression and CPTSD and did I mention hate? And violations of my boundaries and violations of my body autonomy and violations of my mind, spirit, body complex. I'm shaking it all the fuck off. Sending it back to where it belonged, to its original source, whomever that entity might be. Maybe that's why they want to stop me from doing it. Out of just sheer fear of what I might bring back from that mosh each time. I'll tell you what I bring back, my beautiful, handsome, talented men. Gnosis. Life-affirming, strengthening, willpower to thrive. If it really worried me that much, baby boys, I could do the mosh at home. No one would even know. I'd know. My neck would know. But you kind of have to laugh. I was a good girl when I danced for Juddy the other week too, Scott. I didn't mosh, and he would not. I don't have a contract with Juddy about the mosh, by the way. He probably wouldn't even known what was going on if I went into full throttle mosh, but I kept my word to you. But my darling, as much as I love you and you're a true friend to me, don't control the Tanya. It doesn't sit well with me. My whole heart just went, like 2 doors just got blown off. But I know you mean well. I know you do. I know. And I am behaving, believe it or not. Really, really being very, very sweet and loving and good. Because that's the life I want. And I deserve that. I do. We all do. We all deserve to be immersed in each other's sweetness and heart-centeredness and power that is nurturing and nourishing and healing. And by the way, it's a gift that keeps giving, not like the German gift in German means poison, not like a poison that seeps and seeps and corrodes and erodes. No, it's a gift that keeps blooming exponentially. Everyone we meet, everyone we touch, everyone we kiss on the cheek platonic, every soul we see that's in need of that powerful spiritual love is ennobled by it. Don't believe me? You'll find out. You will. Time always reveals all. Trust me on that one. I'm seeing it. It's taken a long, long time, but I'm witnessing it. And seeing is truly believing. It truly is. It's amazing. Thank you to the still in 2018. I might have to cut short this video and go part 2. By the gods, how much more have we got? Oh, it's okay, the rest is mostly the rest is mostly photographs. Oh dear goddess. What shall I do? Shall I go part 2? 3 hours and 32 minutes. What shall I do? What shall I do? We'll finish off 2018 and then we'll go part 2. Or maybe Mama T will just go supernova. I'm joking about that. Supernova can be good or it can be bad. It depends on my mood. You have to laugh. Thank you to the whimsical artist, was it Jared or Crystal, who left me some interesting squares in the bottom of the Nutalex container. Lol. Leave me little surprises. It's, you know, artistic, cute little surprises. It is what it is. Oh dear, you have to laugh. I'm getting dizzy. I need to eat. 2:41 p.m. By the gods. All this on, what was it? 4.5 hours sleep. I wish I had someone to cuddle me right now. Let me drool on his chest again. Not you, Jared. You fulfilled that soul contract. Enough is enough, am I right? Oh, but I love you. Always and forever, I love you. I don't drool on men's chests anymore. I've had many, many years of healing. But just to be comforted and cuddled would be nice. One day, eh? The right person at the right time, chosen by the gods for me. No harm, no foul, just beauty and deep love and peace. That's what I want for my older age, if the gods decree that I keep living. It's always in the lap of the gods and my own stubborn nature sometimes. Right, I will keep going, what the hell. 27th of July 2017, another spectacularly beautiful morning. So blessed and weirded out to be awake in the mornings these past few months. Psychedelic Dreamer, that's my nickname on Pal Talk. That was gifted to me by Spirit, by the way. I sat there when I signed up for Pal Talk and said, what am I going to call myself? Psychedelic Dreamer came back the reply. What, I said? I don't do psychedelics. And they went, no, but you dream in Technicolor. Okay, so that's how I got that name. Anyway, Psychedelic Dreamer no longer sleeps her days and is up all night. Big paradigm shift. I must admit I loved having the entire night to myself, with all the neighbourhood snoring and the quiet all around me. Felt safe, sacred. The night was exclusively mine. This winter, eerily warm weather has been delightful. It also makes up for me missing out on enjoying last summer due to all that tooth agony. Oh dear goddess, don't remind me. I can only hope my teeth are pain-free by this coming summer. They weren't. I could not bear to suffer like that again. Also, Byron is calling me. That means I had an urge to go to Byron. Crystal will be back in December and I want to be well enough to cope with the hurdy-gurdy general mishigas, that's Yiddish for insanity, of having a daughter moving stuff in and out of my house, plus the excitement of it all. I want to have a day trip to Byron with my adult daughter and celebrate her homecoming. Time is precious as she wants to move to Melbourne and I will lose her again, interstate. The Tanya, always losing something or someone precious. So these winter days smiling down upon me, even giving me mild sunburn, are my gift from Hashem to remind me, don't worry, be happy. Everything that is lost or stolen from me returns to me. Oh, don't computer, don't do that. Oh, it's doing weird things now. Oh well, see, I was going to split it into part 2 anyway. Seems the gods have decided, or my computer, or whatever. Bizarre. It's just bloody bizarre. We did well. We got through this long, 3 hours and 38 minutes before it went defective today. That was pretty good, I have to say. Pretty bloody good. Maybe if I press, last time I pressed the escape button, but I had to do it on my keyboard. I'll be back. I'll go and get my keyboard. I'm not going to be abused by a malfeasant jinn in a laptop. Hold the line, people of Earth. Hold the fucking line. Right, press escape. Let's see what F7 does on this. Right, let's see. No, it just keeps scrolling back to the title. It keeps on being a bitch. I also see we've gone offline, and that might be part of the problem. We've been kicked off the net, and then my computer just does this whole mental breakdown. All right, so the answer to that is I'll have to come in and do part 2. All right, there we are. There's the answer to our question. Big agape, platonic, universal, metaphysical, golden, beautiful light and love flowing to my beautiful soulful friends, my subscribers. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in, I know. But it's important to me, and if you're watching it for some peculiar reason, it's important to you. And bye for now. I'll be back with part 2 shortly when I sort out this issue with the laptop. Take good care.